Hello, Inspinet community. Continuing with the programs of interviews here at the AMP Conference 2022 in San Antonio, Texas, we have the honor to have Dr. Samir Degan, okay? President of NACE in the period 2017-2018. He's an organic chemist from the University of Michigan.
Yes, sir.
In India, he's a coating contractor and also a leading manufacturer of high-performance asphalt binders.
Correct.
Welcome, Mr. Degan.
Thank you so
An
much.
honor to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, perfect. I have a question for you.
Yes.
An easy one. How do you see the participation of the professional after pandemic in this type of events?
Well, I think the pandemic has taught us a lot of things, specifically because having to work from home or not having the opportunity of actually working because there were shutdowns all over the place. People have become more focused. They spend time trying to think through for the future how the world has really changed. And I find, at least in my experience, that a lot of owners and people who spend the money to protect their assets are doing it much more methodically. And the people who are involved in that whole community as a whole are much more focused. And so when I've come today to San Antonio, what you see here is people are very, very clear of what they're trying to do. Otherwise, it was more of, let's just go there, see what's going to happen, maybe a party, maybe I find something new. But now people are much, much more focused. I think the pandemic has made us all, given us all a reality check.
Exactly.
That you can't just, assume things will happen.
Yes,
you've got to be focused.
Yes, everybody was in the first day of the opening, was like, finally, we are here, we are all united again. Second question, what do you think of the new hyperconnected world? And where is going the new studies of corrosión?
That's very interesting because the world has completely changed in the last 25 years. So let's put it this way. When I went to study and do my PhD, we would go to the library, we would take out books, we would have to study from paper. And as the internet has grown, automatically more information is available on it. One of the drawbacks maybe 15 years ago was people would just do some search, like a Google search, and whether the information was valid or not valid, they would just assume it to be true. What I see now is that, again, because of the pandemic and people being at home and having an opportunity to judge how good or bad the information may be, again, you're seeing people question things, identify the information more properly, and also through all these platforms where we've been doing meetings like Zoom and meetings, etc., people have learned to connect across the internet. The information flow has improved. So a critical issue being that things we never thought of doing before, we felt we had to be there to do something. Today that is coming directly through the internet, the information is passing on, which inadvertently is making things more efficient and is not allowing you to hide, including things like payments in the contract.
Exactly.
So it's a good change.
Yes, a very good change.
It's a good change.
You are an expert in coatings, well known in the industry of coatings. Tell me about a specific success story of yourself.
Well, each and every job has its, challenges, and each and every job has something unique that you do which you feel is of some success. But I can relate to a very interesting solution we provided in a project about maybe 12, 13 years ago.
13 years ago?
Yeah. So what happened here was we were...
Here in the States?
No, in India.
In India.
So we were working in a nuclear power plant facility, a brand new one. And under the system that we operate, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board oversees all the power plants and certifies them for use. So in the project where we were working, they had changed the design of the reactor dome. And once constructed, this reactor dome has to go through what they call a leak test. And the first reactor got ready and they won the borderline, and there was actually a question of whether the AERB would certify the reactor for operation as per international standards. We were already doing a coating job over there using a solvent-free elastomeric polyurethane material for steel. And the chief engineer at the time, very, very nice fellow, stationed at the site was looking for a solution for this leak test. And what we ended up doing is running hoses, etc., which are much more than it was designed for. And we actually, on the construction joints, ended up putting a 2 millimeter coating, just a half meter band.
2 millimeters.
And the leak test from the first to the second reactor got reduced by half. And that became a solution. So it wasn't even a corrosion protection job, it became a sealant. But it was actually a coating.
Amazing.
So you get these kind of things all over the place.
Excellent, excellent. I'd like to know how India, your country, participate in the corrosion and coating themes, and how professional and industry are interconnected with NACE and all the boards.
Well, as I've already mentioned earlier, the pandemic has changed things, and as far as participation, communication, everything has become very, very good. So what used to happen was, just like I mentioned earlier, you went from paper to the internet starting, you didn't know the information was right or wrong. Over time, the professionals in this coatings industry and also the other corrosion fields in India have learned to connect with people across the globe. So you have access today to the newest technologies which can be implemented in India. Our current administration also is looking for using newer technologies, which is around the globe. Everybody wants better systems. So as a result of being connected through the internet, automatically newer things are coming out faster, people are getting trained better. The government itself, especially the government-owned companies like in the oil and gas sector, they are promoting a lot of training and certification because they want to improve the skill sets of the people. So there is a very fast change in the skill sets of people working in this industry as well as the materials. So let me give you one example of a material. There is a coating system which is developed in Japan, and the first bridge that was painted with this in 1983 still looks very fresh. There has been zero failure on this coating system. In India, because one of the Japanese companies just thought let's try and get it spec'd in, today within a space of 5 years, all new railway bridges in one of the railway divisions is being coated only with this system. It's an expensive system, but the design life is 30 years or more. So overall in the life cycle cost, things improve. Now if we didn't have connections through the internet and access to all these things, some of this would never have come. And so we are seeing this across fields, whether it's in cathodic protection, whether it's in material selection, whether it's in coatings, whether it's application of these materials or how the contracts are executed. You can see huge change across the board and newer technologies coming in. Professionals interacting across the internet, across the globe. And so it's a win-win situation. Everybody is improving. We are raising the bar all the way up. And so AMPP, AMP as a platform, is one of the key platforms as far as this industry is concerned. We have probably more than 800 or 1,000 members in India. 800 to 1,000 members in India who react through this platform, who interact, through this platform across the globe. And we have AMP members across the globe who want to come to India and share their, their expertise and knowledge.
Perfect. I have a question here. What do you think, Mr. Degan, about the fusion between NACE and SPCC?
SSPC, yeah. Well,
and how far?
It's, I think, let's put it this way. I was on the board when this first discussion started. One of the issues that came up at that time was that here we have two organizations doing more or less the same things in coatings. And so maybe you could look at it as competition, but healthy competition. But the point is, if you're a small guy and you go to the government or to a regulator to do something, if there are 2 and 3 voices speaking, it becomes very difficult for that agency to decide what is correct, or maybe this one is doing it for their own benefit. Now when we have a combined platform in AMP, automatically the decision-making people find it much, much easier to trust what is coming, because in the end it's those two organizations that merged. The second thing that happens is it gives you a certain amount of trust now coming through, because you don't have to think what is NACE trying or what is SSPC trying. Now it's only AMP. We know all those people are there, all the professionals are there. So it's a big bonus as far as I'm concerned to regulators, policymakers, decision makers, because they have only one place to go. And the last thing on this, let's be very honest. If SSPC had a conference, if NACE has a conference, people participating have to spend money in both places. We have to look at the people who give us money. And if we provide them a better platform overall, automatically things improve for everybody. So I think this merger has been perfect. It's difficult, but it's excellent.
Excellent, Mr. Degan. Again, thank you. Thank you for
It's
your
my pleasure.
participation.
It's my pleasure.
And we will continue seeing you also here in the conference.
Absolutely.
And let's see if we can see us in the new conference, the coming conference.
We will.
Okay.
We will. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Hello, my name is Antonio, broadcasting live from AMP Annual Conference 2022. And today we have a special guest, an incredible guest, okay? It's an honor for us to have you here, Mr. Bob Chalker. He is the former CEO of AMP in this conference. Hello, Mr. Bob.
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And it's my honor to be here, so.
Thanks. I have a question, Mr. Bob. How do you see this event after this long break that we had with the pandemic?
I think it is awesome. It's incredible. We had, it's been over 3 years since NACE had their last conference. SSPC also had a long break with their conferences. And to be back together, and particularly to be back as AMP, and bringing the two organizations together, the excitement's incredible. People are thrilled to be able to be here, and not only was it important because this was the first event of the new organization, it was important because it says to the world we're open again and we're back to doing business, and hopefully this COVID virus and all of this is behind us, and we're able now to think about what we're going to be doing going forward. So,
perfect. Mr. Bob, can you tell us a little bit about the benefit of this new fusion of AMP?
I like that word, fusion. That's good. I'm going to start using that. Yes, so a tremendous amount of benefit. When these conversations first started, one of the very first things we sat down to look at was, is there truly benefit for the industry? And that was our primary focus. We are here to serve the industry. And if it didn't make sense for the industry to merge, then we shouldn't do it. But if it did, then we should. So there were a couple things that really rose to the top, and the biggest one is being one voice of the industry. The professional association, the trade association of an industry really should be the industry's voice to government, to society as a whole, to the industry and to their industry's customers. And when we had NACE and SSPC both serving it, the voice got very scrambled. If there's so much noise in our world, we get so many emails, so many things on TV, there's so many messages being sent at us, it's hard to get something through anyways, and then you were wasting with both groups doing it. So the biggest advantage is one voice, and we're already seeing that pay off in spades. The other is the efficiency, or the improvement of efficiency for the members and who work in our industry. Why should somebody who wants to do inspection in our industry have to carry a NACE and an SSB certification? Why should an exhibitor or a sponsor have to pay to go to two conferences? The duplication that we were driving just didn't make sense, and it was being wasted. We're developing 2 education programs, 2 certification programs, 2 contractor accreditation programs. By bringing that down and bringing it to one, we're able to take those resources now and build new products and programs and services for the industry. So tremendous amount of efficiency on the industry. And then the third was that we need to have, in today's world, we really need to be thinking strategically. And we are spending too much time trying to compete against each other and not putting the energy into where are we going to go and what does the future hold. So by being able to now come together as one, we've developed a brand new strategic plan that's forward looking, and it's really exciting. So those 3 things have really made it, make the difference for our members and for their employers and for society as a whole.
Excellent. Clear as the water.
I hope so. My Portuguese isn't very good.
No. Well, Bob, I know your agenda today is very busy.
Yes.
Again, we appreciate the effort that you have with us in Inspenet.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the success in this coming period that you
Thank
have
you.
As a CEO.
Thank
of
you.
AMP.
I
Okay?
appreciate that. And thank you for being here and covering the event and giving us the publicity to let people know this is
The
happening.
honor
We appreciate
is
it.
ours. The honor is ours.
Very good, my friend. Thank you. Thank
See
you.
you soon.
Yes, sir.
Somos el grupo Testec y a partir del 10 de mayo representamos oficialmente a la prestigiosa marca Waygate Technologies en Perú, con primicias y adelantos de innovación digital al mercado peruano y el apoyo al proceso de transformación aplicada en los ensayos no destructivos en ultrasonido e inspección visual remota. Esta nueva etapa nos consolida como líderes en representaciones de la tecnología más avanzada en la inspección. Testec, con 33 años en el mercado, garantiza en el mercado a sus clientes las capacidades de mejora en sus procesos de inspección para hacerlas más rápidas y confiables, ahorrando a su vez tiempo y dinero. La excelencia se conquista con el continuo e insuperable servicio. Somos esa perfección que busca. Somos el grupo Testec. Tecnología que optimiza el mundo. Ser exitoso es equivalente a la excelencia. Para llegar a ello, tienes 3 factores que son inseparables: pasión, fe y conocimiento de lo que haces. Te brindamos la oportunidad de conseguir el camino al éxito con las nuevas tendencias en el sector energético educativo y en el crecimiento de tu proyección profesional con el desarrollo de las comunicaciones de esta plataforma que fue creada especialmente para ti. No te formamos, te transformamos. Te consolidamos e integramos a la nueva visión del mundo y su campo laboral. El conocimiento de uno será la fortaleza de todos. Inspenet, red de conocimiento y conexión profesional.